Yo guys, welcome to our latest video. Again, we're restarting our advice series in a sense. Probably one of the most highly requested videos on our channel, and we thought, why not do it again? Today we're talking about players. Why is it so important to create content around yourself, dedicate some kind of time of your day from competing towards content, and why that is so important in building your own career, and how that can kind of be another channel of some kind of revenue for yourself. So let's get into it, because it is a pretty heavy topic that I wanted to touch upon, because I've got a couple of examples that we can talk about. But yeah, let's get straight into the video. So the first thing really is obviously players. The main focus here is players that spend, you know, anywhere from 5 to 8 hours a day, probably even more, sometimes on weekends, whatever it is, playing their specific game. So for example, Call of Duty, they hop on with their team and they scrim for a certain amount of hours. The thing is with that, let me just get back on focus, sorry about that. Thing is with that, obviously, yeah, don't get me wrong, you need to dedicate a lot of hours and you need to do that to practice and improve as a team. That is probably the most important thing. However, the issue with that is I see so many players and so much talent that they're not taking advantage of the streaming platform. It's less kind of the YouTube. I think streaming and YouTube can tie in when it comes to stream highlights or whatever it is, but there's so many players out there that do have a spare 1 to 2 hours a day that they could bang up that stream, they could grow that audience, and realistically, if either you're entertaining, you're pretty good at the game, or you're consistent, you're gonna pick up and you're gonna see some kind of success from that. That's why, from my point of view, it's very difficult seeing players that have so much time in their hands, but they're just dedicating it to competing. Don't get me wrong, you can compete and stream at the same time. The thing is with that, it's if you want to stream scrims, if it's one, because that's if it's actually viable, because you don't want to give away any strategies, and two, that's if the opposite team or your actual team wants that to happen. You know what I mean? If scrims is totally out of it, I understand that's a big bulk of your day and a big bulk of your time. Firstly, sorry about that, camera cut out, ran out of footage, so again, sorry, but we're having so many issues today. But first series back, Jesus. So anyway, however, I see a lot of teams that do have spare time, and let's say you can't just stream scrims. Okay, that's out of it. Let's say that out of it. If it's not, of course, there's your solution. Get a capture card, get the equipment, because realistically, I'd say 90% plus of serious competitive plays, 100% if it's on PC, but especially on console, they have some kind of setup. They have a decent PC, they have a decent capture card available, whatever it is. If you have that, you have no excuse to get started and get that kind of channel going already. However, I can already see some people saying, you know, it's not financially viable. I get that, especially if you're dedicating all your time to competitive and you haven't got a part-time or full-time job. I understand that, and that's when it comes into play. These days, you know, back in the days, Xbox 360, you wouldn't really have that opportunity, but now you have built-in capture cards, so you can just stream from the PS4, you can just stream from the Xbox. And a lot of people say, yeah, that's not really worth it because it's not up to the quality that people want to watch. But if you're good at the game, if you're entertaining, and if you do it consistently, there is no reason why people won't watch. I know multiple different streamers that stream on PS4 and they do get the benefits. They do reap the benefits as normal streamers in a sense. But there's various different reasons, but let's get back on topic of, if you can't stream scrims, there's tournaments to stream. So there's weekly, daily, whatever tournaments there is, whether it's an entry, you have to pay some kind of entry, enter them if you're going to win them or if you're not. People want to watch something competitive. People like to attach themselves to something competitive, where there's stakes on the line, so wages, anything like that. People like to watch that. So there's a whole vary really to stream from, but it's the case of, can you dedicate a few hours a day to doing so? Because realistically, and if we're being totally honest, I'm sure a lot of people see it from this point of view too. If you do start a Twitch channel and it is kind of, you know, picking up, and you do have 50 to 100 subscribers, that's a decent amount of money coming in. You know what I mean? You're looking at 200 to 300 a month, really. Obviously, you do have to get that affiliate first, but it's not too difficult, to be honest. So yeah, if we're really looking at it from that point of view, there isn't any disadvantage to streaming unless you don't actually have the time of day, and that's when you kind of have to make room. And if that's sacrificing scrim time, I know that's a big one to sacrifice, but you know, if you're working 9 till 5 and you're getting home at 5, having dinner, and then 6 o'clock you're hopping on for scrims, you've really got like 4 or 5 hours to play. So if you can get 2 or 3 hours of actual streaming in there, that's the content you need to grow yourself. Because we can kind of touch on the benefits here, what the benefits of actually streaming are. And of course, one, you're going to get some money from it. It's going to help you financially. There's no disadvantage to that, really. Secondly, contacting organisations. I've spoke about this before many times, and it just gives you something else on top of your CV or your resume in a sense. It's like applying to an organisation and say, okay, here are my achievements from the last 2 games. You know, I placed first here, placed second here. That's all good, but we're looking at present now. You know what I mean? We're looking at what's happening right now. And if you haven't got if you haven't got first, second, third, whatever it is to back it up, it's going to be a little bit hesitant. But if you do have them streaming platforms, if you do say, you know, I average 30 to 50 viewers, I do average whatever this, I've got this many subscribers, got this many followers, I get this many impressions, that's going to grab their interest a little bit more. Because realistically, a lot of these amateur organisations, and especially even Radiant, they're not really looking for a team that's going to place well at the actual event. Of course, everybody wants that, but realistically, with pro teams involved, you're not going to get that, especially with Call of Duty. So you're probably looking at a top 30, top 64 placement. But what else are they wanting from that? They're wanting exposure, and that comes from social media. And to do that, you know, they want to plaster their logos on your streams, they want to plaster their logos on your headers, on your Twitter, whatever it is, and you need to grow them platforms because it's so important. I'm sure you know various different players that have got more funding than better players because they've got their streaming platform. And yes, that's a little bit controversial, but he or she or whatever it is has built that platform, and fair play to them because they have built that themselves. And that's the audience they're going to receive, you know what I mean? That's what they can take to an organisation and say, okay, I get this many numbers. And the org's going to be like, okay, I'm interested, you know what I mean? Because that's going to reap benefits for me. That's going to send it over to my sponsors. People are going to use our code on them sponsors. People are going to check out our website. It's going to bring in more and more numbers that, again, the end goal for organisations really is to up them numbers so they can put it on a sponsorship deck, contact sponsors, get money, boom, grow from there. That's the main thing. So you need to be bringing in more benefits than just playing, really. And if you can, why not? But of course, it always comes down to the sense: can you afford a capture card? Can you afford the equipment? But like I said, if you have a PC, but if you don't have a capture card, you've already got half the setup already. You need a PC. I'd recommend, obviously there's Ava Media, Elgato. I'd recommend something that you can get into your motherboard. So all that would be is normally like, it ranges from like 80 to 130 pounds for a capture card, really. But you'd want to open up your PC, stick it in the motherboard, and then connect some HDMI's to your PS4, then to your monitor, and then boom, it's all set up. Then it's really the next platform you need is Streamlabs OBS. That's the one I use personally. It can be, if you haven't got the best PC, it can be a little bit, what's the word I'm looking for? It can be a little bit hard on your PC because it is a pretty beefy platform, takes up a lot of RAM. But if you can run that, then OBS Streamlabs, sorry. Then if you can't, there's OBS Studio, and then there's OBS Regular. So there's 3 different platforms you can use already to get that going. Obviously, if you don't have a capture card, if you don't have a PC, stream from your PS4. There's no disadvantage to doing it, really, unless you obviously you can't do scrims. So if you have that spare time, if you have a decent internet, I think you need like above a 4 upload or something like that, get doing it. There's no disadvantage. Just get started now, get building up them numbers whilst you can, and it's only going to lead to benefits for yourself. So that pretty much wraps up the video. If you did find it useful, please let me know down in the comments. Obviously, please, likes, whatever, appreciated, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to go sell it on. But yeah, please let me know your thoughts if you'd like to see more of this type of content, because I do enjoy recording it. I don't have a script or anything like that. I just set up the camera, talk in it, and speak my thoughts, and hopefully it helps in some way. So please let me down in the comments. If you want to tweet me, it's Radiant_over2As. But yeah, let me know what you think of this content, and I appreciate you watching, and have a good rest of your evening, morning, whatever it is. Cheers, guys.